everyone. My name is Michelle, and I'm your host from Canadian Geographic Education for today's presentation as part of our 2024 Marine Month in Canada program. This is a program sponsored by our friends at the Canadian Marine Careers Foundation. We're excited to be back for our second to last presentation today with Marine Atlantic, who operate ferry services between the provinces of Newfoundland and Labrador and Nova Scotia. And we're looking forward to our last presentation tomorrow with CSL Group, who specialize in dry bulk cargo transportation. So for all of our teachers tuning in, I'll just remind you, don't forget to check in by dropping your class nickname in the chat so that you can be entered into our draw for $500 for your school. And for the students in the audience, you know to stay with us until the end, as we've got a question and answer session planned with today's presenter and a short Kahoot quiz to test your memory on some of the important aspects that are mentioned in today's presentation. So you can log in at kahoot.it and join with the pin on screen. And I'll bring the pin up again at the end of the presentation in case you don't have your devices ready just yet. So without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce our special guest today, Ellen McNeil. So Ellen is a chief cook for Marine Atlantic Ferry Services, and I'm excited to share that Ellen is actually on board their newest vessel, the Alasunu, which is a state-of-the-art vessel providing ferry services between the island of Newfoundland and the province of Nova Scotia. So let's get Ellen up on screen with us. Hi, Ellen. Good morning.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. Happy to have you with us.
Happy to be here.
I'm going to start off. I'm super excited about the fact that you're live and in the field on a vessel today. So my first question to you for our audience is, can you tell us a little bit more about where you are on the vessel and where you are in Canada?
Well, I am currently docked in North Sydney, Nova Scotia, and as you said, I'm aboard the Alasunu, and I'm in the galley or kitchen of the ship.
Wonderful. And so would you be able to tell us a little bit more about Marine Atlantic specifically, and then your role on board the Alasunu?
Yeah, so Marine Atlantic is a ferry service. So basically what that means is we take supplies and people from Nova Scotia or Newfoundland to and from each province. And what I do is part of the hospitality services we provide. So I either cook for the crew or for the passengers restaurant. Yeah.
Sounds really awesome. I don't know what it would be like to cook on board a ship, but I know that you're going to tell us all about it. So could you start by maybe just giving the students that are watching a little bit more of an idea of the journey that it took to get to the position that you're in now?
Well, for me personally, I've always been interested in cooking, and I knew from a young age I wanted to be a chef. So I went to culinary arts school at Holland College in PEI. And then from there, I worked in restaurants for a couple of years. And then I went to a job fair where Marine Atlantic was, and I applied and was hired as a second cook, which means a kitchen assistant, essentially. And then from there, the company helped me achieve my goal of getting my Red Seal certification. So now I'm a chief cook, which is kind of like a kitchen manager. And then my next goal is to become a senior chief cook, which is like the head of the galley.
Okay, so you've progressed pretty quickly in the roles that you've had with them. So maybe a follow-up question then, or actually no, first question I have for you is, I'm curious, what are the main differences between cooking in a restaurant on a vessel like you are now and cooking in a restaurant on land?
Well, the main difference is the amount of outlets that we serve here on the vessel. So in a regular restaurant on land, you're normally serving one dining room and maybe some takeout. But here on the vessel, we're serving a passenger restaurant, the crew dining room, and a bar that serves pub food all at the same time while the vessel is moving.
So you have to have a certain level of good balance, I guess, while you're doing all of these tasks.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, so on that note, are there any types of specialized training that you require to work on board?
Yeah, so when you get hired at Marine Atlantic, they provide all kinds of safety training, such as like life raft training and fire training and all kinds of hospitality type training and passenger safety stuff. We do a lot of fire drills. There's usually 2 for every 15-day tour. Safety and training is very important to Marine Atlantic.
Okay, we have some photos here on screen too. So these are some photos of the fire and life draft training, and then we have some photos of the fire drill and the safety plan. So yeah, I was myself, I was doing a little bit of research about like some of the requirements for staff on board, and safety was always at the top of the list. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Safety for both yourselves as staff, but also the passengers that you're carrying.
Yeah, it's a big deal here, and honestly, the safety training is really fun.
So give us some examples of some of the fun things that you've been able to do.
Well, one of my favorite things was doing the fire safety training, where we went to a training facility where they put real fires and had us put them out for real. Like, there was an oven on fire and we had to put that thing out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So this is like the Alasunu is a pretty state-of-the-art vessel. It's brand new. It's operating for the first time this year, right? And so it would have,
yeah.
There's lots of like advanced safety equipment, and the way that the kitchen is built is designed to allow you guys to operate safely while you're working, right?
Yes, it absolutely is. There's all kinds of fire safety and regular safety in place. The stuff on this boat is amazing.
So tell us a little bit more about like a typical day for you on board.
Well, my days pretty much are the same, and since we live here on the vessel while we're working our 15-day tour, I wake up usually about 30 minutes before my shift, and then depending on whether I'm cooking for passengers or crew, I would prep all my stuff, serve the crew their lunch, and then get right into supper prep, and then just prepare for the next day. And if I'm prepping for the restaurant, I am working with the same menu every day. So I prepare all my items, then we do a restaurant service for about 5 hours for the passengers. And during that time, we're just keeping everything full, keeping everybody happy and fed. And then we just clean up and do it all over the next day.
And if I'm not mistaken, like your shifts can extend to 12 hours a day, right? You work quite a bit.
Yeah, we work 15 days for 12 hours a day.
But then what's the other half of that? Do you get 15 days off?
You do, yeah.
And is it challenging at all for you? Like you have to prepare meals for a lot of people at once, and people always have different dietary restrictions, or they might have like special considerations, or they might experience seasickness while they're on board. So is it challenging for you to have to juggle all of that and prepare meals for all of those scenarios?
It can be. So for the most part, the crew is run by our menu planning committee, which is made up of people from all the departments, and then some senior chief cooks and our executive chef. And the menu is planned. There's 3 sets of menus, and there's 15 days worth of food on the menus, and they're each assigned for 4 different months, staggered throughout the year. So I don't get to choose what the crew gets to eat. I just make what the menu says. But in regards to dietary restrictions, we are working on menus for gluten-free and vegetarian people, because those are the 2 major restrictions and dietary requirements. And then for the passengers, it's a classic restaurant menu with some special stuff in the summer. So when the Alasunu sails to Argentia in the summertime, we have a special menu that's indigenous inspired. So it has all kinds of like seafood and bison and special things like that.
Oh wow, that's really special. And I mean, that creates a nice experience as well for the passengers that are on board. It's quite unique to be able to offer that.
Yeah.
So do you have any fun stories or unique experiences that you'd be able to share with the students watching today?
Yeah, every day is different, honestly, and something happens pretty much every tour. But one that sticks out to me is we were tied up one evening because of the bad weather, and so we were doing some deep cleaning, and I was working as a second cook then, and I could hear this strange noise So I went to search for it and I couldn't find it. So I got some assistant stewards to help me. And we realized there was a small bird trapped inside the restaurant. So it took all three of us running around trying to catch this poor little bird. And then about a half hour later, we finally caught him. And we released him and everything was fine and he was safe. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty unexpected, but I guess he just snuck his way in there somehow.
Yeah.
And what about, like, I would imagine that it's not always calm waters while you're working. So have you ever had to cook where like the boat has been rocking or the seas have been rough?
Yeah, it happens quite often that the seas are pretty rough and we're moving around quite a bit while we're sailing. But I was sailing back from Quebec one time, back to Cape Breton, and the seas were really, really rough. And I was making spaghetti and meat sauce for supper. And I put my sauce down on the counter and I turned around, and as I went to leave it, we hit a big wave and my sauce just went flying all over the counter and all down the stand mixer equipment and stuff like that. It was just a big mess.
So then not only do you have to re-prepare your meal, you have to clean up the kitchen entirely after that too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and because there was no passenger on board and we were sailing back from a refit schedule, there was only 3 of us on nights. So it was really like nobody around to kind of help. Yeah. But it's pretty funny when it happens. But yeah, it's quite often we're rocking all over the place.
Well, so I'm sure the students that are watching would love to see like where it is you work. So would you be able to take us on a tour of the kitchen?
Yeah, absolutely. Just bear with me a second while I set this up.
Are the waters pretty calm today? Oh, we lost Ellen. She'll join us in a second here. That's always the fun thing of having a presenter join us from in the field. So Ellen's on a ship right now, connected to Wi-Fi on her phone, and we were wondering if we were going to run into any little tech issues. So we'll just give her a moment to figure out how to get back on the call, and then she'll take us on a tour around the kitchen.
Difficulty with my camera here.
That's what I was telling the students watching. It's whenever you're tuning in from on board a ship, there's always some fun tech issues that you have to resolve.
We're just gonna do it this way. Just keep myself in frame as I walk. So this is a prep area that I generally use. And then as we go around, here's another prep area. And this is our third one where we generally do vegetables. And then if you keep going, this is our walk-in freezer where we store all of our main equipment and food.
Can I get you to just slow your pace down just a little bit, because the connection's having trouble keeping up?
Yeah. Okay. So over here, we have where our second cooks bake and cook desserts and make salads and stuff for the crew.
Everything's so nice and clean.
Yeah, that's all new. Yeah. And then as we come up here, this is our hotline where we do our main service. And this is the second half of the hotline. So here's where you'd find our stove, which is designed specifically for ships so that it's safe and there's no flames. And then our deep fryers, which are also designed for ships so that the oil doesn't splash out at us.
Oh, can I get you to slow down?
This is our dish pit where the restaurants... Sorry. This is the dish pit where the servers bring all the dishes from the restaurant. And, this is the restaurant area where we serve the passengers.
Can I get you to just stand there for a moment to just to let the feed catch up with you because it's a little bit choppy.
Okay.
There we go. So how many people can sit in the restaurant?
I believe it's 300 can sit in here at once.
Okay. And it's open from what hours during the day?
Usually 12 to 5.
All right. There we go. Now we can see you nice and clear.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right. And can you you can see, like, when you're looking at the seating area of the restaurant, you can actually see outside too, right? Like it's all windows and you can see the water from there.
Yeah, I can show you that. It's actually snowing right now, so it's not going to be the best view.
It's snowing. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm in Ottawa and we do not have snow yet. It's supposed to go up to 22 degrees this week.
Oh, you're lucky. It's like 2 degrees here right now. So these are the main windows.
And so you're docked at the moment?
Yeah, we're currently docked in North Sydney. We don't leave for another like hour and a half.
Well, thank you for the tour. I mean, it's a beautiful vessel. And just to remind the students that are watching, so this is the newest vessel in the Marine Atlantic fleet. And do you remember about when its first its maiden voyage was?
I believe it made its maiden voyage in March or April. I'm unsure. I was in school when that was happening, so.
And so this was your, like, you've only ever worked on the Alasunu?
No, I've worked on all the vessels actually. I've been here for about 6 years.
Oh, okay. And how does the Alasunu compare to the others?
It's totally different than the others. It's really great being on something that's new, and it's a great experience to learn a ship top to bottom. It's definitely different.
Well, I think we're hitting our sort of 20-minute mark, so we might as well start off with our question and answer session now, so that students get the chance to ask you their questions. So while we're doing that, I'm just going to bring up our Kahoot code on screen, so that everybody can log in with their devices. And we're going to go to our first class. So this is a grade 5 class from Newfoundland. So I'm just going to bring them up on screen here. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
It's so nice to see such a big group of you. Is there anybody in the group that has any questions for Ellen?
Hello.
We might need you to come closer to the microphone so we can hear you.
How much sleep do you get? How much sleep do you get?
Oh, 5 hours off. So if I'm lucky, I get 8 hours.
Perfect.
Sorry, you cut out on us. Was it 12 hours on, 12 hours off?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, that's a pretty long shift. Any other questions?
Georgia. Where do you sleep?
So deck 9 of the boat is all crew cabins. So we each get rooms. Sometimes you have to share. Hopefully that person is on the opposite ship of you and you're working on your sleep. But it's pretty cool. It's like having your own little bedroom on a boat.
We lost Ellen again. Her connection is. I'll ask her to see if she can move somewhere else on the boat where she has a stronger connection. We'll give her a second to join. So do we have, is it all grade 5s watching today or different grades?
We got 2 classes of grade 5s.
2 classes of grade 5s. Awesome. Can you hear me, Ellen?
Yeah, sorry about body.
Yeah, is there a chance that you could move back to maybe where you started with us, just because the connection was a lot stronger there?
Sure.
For a second. Oh, I see lots of hands going up, so there's lots of questions for you.
Do you have any roommates at the moment?
At the moment, I do not have a roommate, no.
All right, anyone
Hang
else?
on, 1 second.
You're giving us the full experience of being on a rocky boat.
Yeah, that'd be fun. There we go.
I just wanted to know, did you have any roommates at the moment?
Did I have any roommates at what?
At the moment.
No, I do not have a roommate at the moment.
Okay. Kate,
Are the other chefs nice?
are the other chefs nice?
Yeah, everybody's super friendly. We all work as a team. I've met some really amazing people working here.
Peyton,
How do chefs do you?
how many shifts are on the boat?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
How many shifts are working with you now?
How many chefs are here right now? Right now, there's 4 of us.
Like if you work for a long time, you like switch with other people, like doing the like if somebody was like you somebody was being doing mechanic stuff and somebody become they like switch their experience with it.
Did you hear that one?
No, I can't hear them at all. I'm sorry.
Lexi, come up and talk.
Sounds like a good question, though.
So if you hello, if you do you like switch shifts? Like if somebody was doing the mechanic work and somebody was doing their experience, do they like switch it around?
Yeah, so like when we work on shift, you can work the first 15 days of the month or the last 15 days of the month, and you can work 12 hours in the day, so 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., or you can work 12 hours in the night, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Free. 1 second, she's coming.
Who are your captains? I don't know. I just want to know that.
Who is your current captain?
We actually have many captains, and there's, I would say, probably about 25 or 30 of them, so it's often I don't get to see the captain.
I think she's wondering, is the captain or Poppy? Because their Poppy works there too. Who else? Peyton. Come up.
Do you know anybody who's named Gina?
Gina King.
I can't hear her, I'm sorry.
Do you know anyone named Gina King?
Named what?
Gina King.
I do, yeah.
So that's her aunt. That's why she's asking.
Okay, yeah.
Dallas. Have you met any famous people on the boat?
I haven't personally met them, but this summer the Rust Valley Restorers came across, so they have a TV show about cars, and there's been some musicians that have came across, yeah.
Oh, nice. I did. You guys know her name?
Do you know who Roberta Hodder is?
The name sounds familiar, so we've probably met.
So there's lots of people in the audience who have family members who work on board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're actually in Portabass, where the boat comes over.
Oh, okay.
Georgia.
I'm going to say you should not be scrumming or talking to yourself.
Go ahead.
Second to come here.
Why do you have so many captains?
Well, so they can have time off as well. So there'll be one captain per boat, and there's 4 boats that go every day. So we need extra captains so they can all have their time off and enjoy their lives.
Have you seen any whales?
I have seen a whale. I've only seen it once, and it was amazing. And I've seen some dolphins as well.
What type of whale was it?
I think it was a killer whale, but I'm not sure. We only got to see his back.
Scarlett.
If you're not asking a question, you should be sitting there watching, listening.
Maybe we'll do 2 or 3 more questions.
Okay.
Do you know anyone named Todd Harris?
Oh, I don't think so, but probably. But there's a lot of people on here, so we're all meeting new people pretty much every day.
Regan.
I'm scared.
Come on.
Scared.
Come up here.
Because you said you rarely work with the exact same staff on shifts, right? It's always
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah.
What is it? Anyone else got any more
You know,
questions?
I'll say it.
No.
I'll say it.
Ella.
Do you have any days off?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you have any days off?
I do, yeah. I'm actually going to be on vacation for November.
Well, that sounds nice. Well, thank you everybody for awesome questions. We have just a few more coming in through the chat. So grade 5s, I'm gonna take you off screen. We're gonna say goodbye to you now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye, thank you.
So we have a question here that says, have you ever had to get creative with like cooking in unexpected situations where maybe you ran out of ingredients, or like you had to just put something together really quickly in a short amount of time?
Yeah, that actually happens a lot because, like, if we get bad weather and we get tied up on the other side, we might not get our stuff. So we might have to just pivot our whole day and plan a whole new menu, and it could be really last minute.
That's when you get to use your creativity, right?
Yeah, it's when I get to have fun.
And then just one last question here. So are there any ways that high school students or post-secondary students who are thinking about their future careers, are there any ways that they can learn more about opportunities with Marine Atlantic? So is there like job fairs or job boards or volunteer or tour opportunities?
Yeah, they used to do job fairs. I'm not 100% sure if they still do, but you can always go on our website and there's a career section there. But there's lots of marine institutes and programs that'll lead you in this path. And the Coast Guard College is also a good choice to be if you want to work on the water.
Oh, the Coast Guard College. That's true, because that's in Halifax, right?
Yeah. There is one here in Cape Breton as well. And there's a Marine Institute in Newfoundland, I believe, yeah.
And then just one last question for you as we're just waiting for any more players for our Kahoot game. Are there any like trends or ideas that are going to be incorporated into the menu? Like I know that you don't necessarily plan the menu, but do you know of any trends or any things that they're considering trying?
Yeah, they're considering adding more vegetarian options because we've noticed a lot of people asking for that. And they're looking into continuing with this Indigenous theme for our summer menu so we can represent a lot of people and bring culture to the boat.
Great. Great. I love to hear it. Okay, well, we've got 2 players for our Kahoot game, so we're going to get started because we're coming up at a half-hour mark. So everybody watching in the audience, if you don't have a device, you can still play along and see how you do against everyone. So the first question is, what provinces are served by Marine Atlantic ferry services? So is it Newfoundland and Labrador and A, Nova Scotia, B, New Brunswick, C, Prince Edward Island, or D, Quebec? Oh, they were listening. So it is Newfoundland and Labrador and Nova Scotia. So we've got a diplomatic pelican in the lead. Second question, what does the name of the vessel Alasunu mean in Mi'kmaq? Is it friend, food, traveler, or tourist? I don't know if we actually answered this question, so we'll see what.
I don't think we did.
Oh, so one person said friend, one person said traveler, and it is indeed traveler. The pelican's still in the lead. Which of the following is the Alasunu capable of carrying? Commercial freight, passengers, neither, or both? So the answer is both, right? Ellen, it can do both commercial and passengers?
Yeah.
And last question. What skills are handy to have as a chief cook on board a vessel at sea? Knowledge of hygiene and sanitation, willingness and able to work 12 hours a day, experience in food preparation and service, or all of the above? Yes, the answer is all of the above. So Ellen told us about all of the clean. She showed us the clean stations on board. She talked about the 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and the helpful experience knowing food prep is a huge asset. So let's see how we finished. I'm gonna guess that it's our pelican in the lead. And yes, it is. So congratulations to our diplomatic pelican. Good listening. So I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you all for joining the presentation today. It was great to have those good questions on screen. As a reminder, the presentation is recorded, so and as are all of our other ones. So if you want to catch any of the previous presentations, you can go to cangeoeducation.ca and access all of the recordings there, as well as any activities that you want to use in the classroom to delve into some of these subjects and presentations in more detail. And I'd also like to thank our friends at the Canadian Marine Careers Foundation for supporting the Marine Month program. This is the second year of the program, and we're so happy to be able to connect classrooms with different workers in the marine industry. It's been lots of fun. And thank you to the teachers and the students in our audience, and thank you most of all to you, Ellen, for joining us today and for taking us on a tour and giving us a glimpse into your daily life. It was really, really special, so thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed doing this. Thank you.
All right, well, I'm sure you have a busy shift ahead of you, so we're going to let you get back to it. And hopefully we'll get to see you again soon.
All right, thank you.
Take care.
Bye. You too.